The sun barely manages to break through the thick curtains, its pale light creeping across my small living room and landing on the pile of laundry I've been meaning to tackle all week. I glance at my phone, still silent, and check the time. It's almost noon. My birthday, 22. Hardly a milestone, but it's still my day, right? I had hoped for something, anything, to mark the occasion. A call, maybe a message, something to remind me that I wasn't forgotten. But the silence in my apartment feels louder than any celebration ever could. I drag myself out of bed and slip into the outfit I laid out last night. A simple, soft yellow dress that feels like a hug on days like this. It's a little too bright for my usual style, but today I can't bring myself to care. I pass by the photo on my counter, a family shot from a few years ago, when I still believed we could be a real family. Back when I was still a part of their world, or at least I thought I was. There's me in the back, smiling way too big, like maybe if I smiled enough, it would make the distance between us disappear. Mom and Dad are front and center, arms around my younger brother, Lucas, like they always were. He was the golden child, the one everyone looked up to. The calendar on the wall has today's date circled in red, a hopeful little mark I made weeks ago. I didn't think it would matter, but now, seeing it there, it's like a reminder that nothing's changed. I check my phone again. Still nothing. It's not like I was expecting fireworks or a grand gesture, but I would have liked a text. A happy birthday from my family wouldn't have been too much to ask, right? Just a small thing to remind me I wasn't completely invisible. I tap out a quick message in the family group chat, fingers hesitating over the keys for a moment before I press send. Hey, are we still meeting for dinner tonight? The dots appear, and then disappear. Nothing. A knot starts to form in my stomach. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they just haven't seen it yet. It's early still, I reason. I check my email. No new messages. I water the plants on the windowsill, pretending that everything's fine. Even though my heart's beating faster now, I check the chat again. Still nothing. Not even from Lucas, who always replies in 2 seconds. I try not to think about it. Instead, I grab my phone and call Mom. It rings. Once, twice, 3 times. Hello? Mom's voice comes through, casual, distracted. Hi, Mom. Just checking in about tonight. What time are we meeting for dinner? Dinner? She repeats, like she's just waking up. The coldness in her voice makes my stomach churn. Yeah, dinner. For my birthday. You know, like we've done before? Oh, she says, and I can almost hear her scrambling to fill in the gaps. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I completely forgot to mention it. But we're taking Lucas out tonight to celebrate his promotion. There's a long silence. A heavy one. I force myself to stay calm, to hold it together. But Mom, it's my birthday today. I know, she says quickly. I should have mentioned it earlier, but we made reservations a while ago. And the place is really hard to get into. I'm sorry, honey. We'll do something for you later this week. Something inside me snaps, but I swallow it down. Right, of course. Have a good night. The call ends with a click. I stand there for a few moments, phone still in hand, the words echoing in my mind. We'll do something for you later. As if that's supposed to make it better. I feel like I've been here before, like I'm back in high school, standing in the shadows while Lucas gets the applause. My graduation. The time I won an award, only for Dad to rush off halfway through the ceremony to make it to one of Lucas's baseball games. It's always been like this, always, but this time, it's different. This time, it's my birthday. I walk over to the counter and pick up the necklace Mom gave me last Christmas. It's a simple silver piece, nothing fancy, but I can't wear it anymore. It wasn't chosen for me. It was a gift meant to check off a box. I set it down gently, as if putting the pieces of my fractured heart in place. Just as I turn to head to my room, my phone buzzes. A text. But it's not from Mom. Happy birthday! The message from Daniel pops up on my screen, followed by a heart emoji. His name makes my chest tighten. The sweetness of his message makes me realize just how much I've been starving for affection that wasn't conditional. I smile, a real one this time, not the kind I plaster on for everyone else. Daniel. He always knows how to make me feel seen. I type a quick response, thanks. Do you have plans tonight? A few minutes later, the phone rings. It's Daniel. Hey, I answer, a little out of breath. Hey, you okay? His voice is warm, steady, but there's something in the way he asks that makes me pause. I'm fine, I say, but even I can hear the lie in my voice. Just a little bummed out. You know, it's my birthday and, well, I thought maybe my family would remember. There's a long pause on the other end. They didn't remember? Daniel asks, his voice suddenly sharp, protective. No, not really. They're celebrating Lucas tonight instead. My birthday isn't even on the agenda. Daniel's quiet for a moment. Then I hear him exhale. I'm coming to get you. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I want to tell him no. I don't want to look like I'm asking for pity, but I don't have it in me to stop him. Okay, I say, my voice small. As I hang up, I glance at the photo of my family again. The image of us all together feels like a lifetime ago. Maybe it was. The knock on my door comes right on time. When I open it, Daniel stands there, holding a small bouquet of daisies, the kind I used to love as a kid. He looks at me, no judgment, just care. Come on, he says softly, taking my hand in his. Let's go make tonight about you, not about them. And for the first time in what feels like forever, I believe it might just be possible. Daniel drives without saying much, just enough to keep the atmosphere comfortable. I'm not even sure what I'm feeling anymore, anger, disappointment, or maybe something else I can't quite name. I've spent my whole life trying to make sense of my family's treatment, trying to convince myself that I'm imagining it, that I'm overreacting. But now, I can't ignore the truth. I think about how many birthdays have passed without a real celebration. How many times I've been brushed aside, only to watch Lucas get the spotlight. I try not to think about the resentment creeping in, but it's there. Heavy and thick, settling in my chest. Daniel's presence beside me, calm and steady, helps ease the weight just a little. I don't get it, he says, breaking the silence, his voice low but full of concern. You deserve to be celebrated. Your family should know that. Yeah, I mutter, staring out the window at the blur of passing streets. But they don't. The words come out of me, raw and unfiltered. They never really have. I can hear the frustration in Daniel's tone when he speaks again. It's not fair. You should have been the one they wanted to celebrate today, Sarah. I know, I whisper, trying to hold back the tears that threaten to spill. It's always been like this. I get the feeling I'm invisible. Like, no matter what I do, I'm never enough. Not for them. His grip on the wheel tightens for a second, but he doesn't say anything else. He doesn't need to. The silence between us speaks volumes. We both know the kind of family dynamics I've been living with, the kind that's so subtle, so ingrained, that you start doubting your own worth. We don't talk much the rest of the way, and when we finally pull into the parking lot of a little cafe, it feels like a breath of fresh air. The place has a warm, inviting vibe with its wooden tables and mismatched chairs. It's the kind of place where you don't feel the pressure of life closing in on you. Here we are, Daniel says as he parks, giving me a quick, reassuring smile. I nod, swallowing back whatever emotions are swirling inside me. I'm not ready to deal with them all yet. Not in front of Daniel, at least. But as I step out of the car and follow him inside, I realize something I didn't know I was missing. The feeling of being seen, of not having to fight for attention, of not needing to prove myself. Inside, we're greeted by the hostess, a woman in her late 20s with bright red hair and a smile that could light up the room. She recognizes Daniel right away and waves him over. Hey, Daniel. Table for two? She asks, her voice cheerful. Yeah, he replies, smiling back at her. Thanks, Emma. As we're led to our table, I glance around. The place isn't crowded, but it's filled with life. People chatting, laughing, just enjoying their meals. It's the kind of atmosphere I've always dreamed of being a part of. And for the first time today, I feel like I belong here. Like I'm not just a background character in someone else's story. Daniel pulls out my chair for me, and as I sit down, I finally take a deep breath. There's something about this place, about Daniel, that makes it feel okay. Like I don't have to carry the weight of my family's neglect anymore. Thanks for this, I say, meeting his eyes. I didn't know what I needed until you showed up. He smiles, but it's the kind of smile that reaches his eyes and makes me feel like I'm the only one in the room. I'm glad I could be here, Sarah. You deserve a birthday you can actually remember. The waiter comes by, and we both order the special grilled chicken with roasted vegetables and some sparkling water. For a moment, I feel like things are normal again, like I can breathe without that constant knot in my stomach. As we eat, we talk about the little things: my new job, his recent project at work, plans for the future. It's so easy, so natural, nothing heavy. Just a conversation between two people who genuinely care about each other. But my mind keeps drifting back to my family, to the text from my mother, to the call from Lucas, to the way they'd brushed me aside, the way they always do. It hits me suddenly, something I've known but never fully accepted. They don't care about me the way they care about him. They never have. And maybe I've been letting it happen for too long. After dinner, Daniel insists on paying, even though I offer to split the bill. "It's your birthday," he says with a grin. "Let me treat you." I can't help but smile back. It feels good to have someone who treats me like I'm worth something, like I matter. We step outside, the cool evening air brushing against my skin. As we walk back to his car, I feel lighter. Not because of the meal or the drinks, but because of the kindness, the simple care he's shown me. It's a kind of love I've never known from my family. When we get in the car, Daniel turns to me, his expression serious for the first time since we left the cafe. "Sarah, you know you don't have to keep putting up with that, right?" I know exactly what he's talking about. The way my family treats me, the way they've always made me feel less than. "I don't know," I say quietly. "It's hard to just walk away. They're my family." Daniel's voice softens. "Family should lift you up, not tear you down. You deserve better than that, and I don't think you should wait for them to come around. You deserve to be celebrated for who you are, not just for what you can do for them." I want to believe him. I really do. But the truth is, it's been hard for me to imagine life without trying to make my family see me. Even now, even after everything, I still find myself holding on to that hope. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop hoping for something that isn't coming. Daniel's hand is warm on mine as we drive, and for the first time today, I don't feel like I'm invisible. It's a strange feeling, peaceful even, but also a little unsettling. I'm not sure if I'm ready to let go of the family I've always tried to belong to, but I think I'm starting to realize that I don't need them to define who I am. I don't need them to validate my worth. We pull into Daniel's driveway, and I take a deep breath, my fingers still tracing the rim of the water bottle in my lap. "Thanks for today," I say, my voice thick with gratitude. "Anytime, Sarah," he replies. "But next year, you're going to have a birthday that's actually about you." No more of this family nonsense. I smile, feeling a flicker of hope. Maybe next year will be different. Maybe I'll finally stop waiting for my family to see me and start living for myself. As I get out of the car, Daniel calls after me. "And hey, if you ever need a backup family, you know where to find me." His words hit me hard, but in a good way. For the first time, I feel like I'm not completely alone. Maybe the family I've been searching for isn't the one I've always known. Maybe it's the one I choose. The next few days pass in a blur of work and quiet nights spent in my apartment, each one more peaceful than the last. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel the constant weight of waiting for my family to acknowledge me, to see me for who I am rather than what I can do for them. It's like I've stopped holding my breath, just waiting for something that never comes. I'd like to say that the silence from them didn't bother me anymore, but that would be a lie. I don't check my phone as often, but I still find myself glancing at it every so often, hoping for something. A message, a call, a reminder that they remember I exist, but nothing. Not a word. I try to push the thoughts aside, telling myself I don't need them. I don't need their validation. Daniel's voice keeps echoing in my mind. Family should lift you up, not tear you down. And for once, I start to believe him. But that doesn't stop the nagging little voice in the back of my head, the one that tells me I should at least give them a chance to explain themselves. On the 5th day after my birthday, I decide to send a text, just one, just to see if anything has changed. "Hey, Mom. I've been thinking a lot, and I wanted to talk about what happened last week. Can we maybe meet up soon?" I hit send, then immediately second-guess myself. What am I doing? I know what this is. Another attempt to make myself seen, to ask for something I've already asked for 1,000 times. And every single time, I've ended up disappointed. I put my phone down, burying my head in my hands. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep hoping for something that's never going to come? Just as I'm about to get up and leave the room, my phone buzzes. Of course. What do you want to talk about? I don't know what to feel. Relief? Excitement? A sense of impending dread? I guess all of it. I stare at the message for a long time, unsure of how to respond. Part of me wants to ask for an apology, to tell her exactly how much it hurt to be ignored on my birthday. But another part of me knows that asking for that is just setting myself up for disappointment. I take a deep breath and type out my response. I just want to understand what happened. It's been really hard, Mom, and I need to know why you couldn't make time for me. On my birthday. The words feel heavy as they leave my fingertips, but I send them anyway. The reply comes a few minutes later. I didn't think it was a big deal, Sarah. Lucas had a special dinner, and we had made the plans weeks ago. We're still celebrating you, don't worry. You're just being dramatic about it. Dramatic. The word stings more than I expect. It's the same word they've always used when I voiced my feelings. The same word that makes me feel small, like my emotions don't matter. Like I'm just a child throwing a tantrum over nothing. I grip the phone tighter, my fingers white with anger. How could she say that? After everything? After I was the one who always gave and gave, while Lucas was always the one they catered to? But before I can respond, another message pops up. Can you please stop making this a bigger deal than it is? It's a birthday. It's not that serious. My stomach churns as I read her words. My eyes blur with tears, but I won't let them fall. Not now. Not anymore. I've spent enough years letting their neglect define me, and I'm done with it. Fine, I type, but I won't pretend anymore that I'm okay with how you've treated me. You've never been there for me like you are for Lucas, and it's time I stop pretending like it doesn't hurt. I press send before I can change my mind. The phone feels heavy in my hand as I wait for her response. It comes quickly. You're overreacting, Sarah. I'm done with this conversation. And just like that, the silence returns. I stare at the screen, the finality of her words sinking in. This is it. The conversation I've been waiting for, the explanation I've been hoping for, and it ends with your overreacting. For a moment, I want to scream. I want to throw my phone across the room and let the anger take over. But I don't. I sit there, breathing deeply, letting the calmness wash over me instead. This is it! This is the moment I finally accept what I've known all along. My family isn't going to change. They don't want to change. I place the phone face down on the table, take a deep breath, and push myself off the couch. I need to get out of here. Daniel's house is only a short drive away, but right now, it feels like the longest distance in the world. I need someone who actually sees me. I need someone who doesn't think I'm just being dramatic when I voice my pain. I grab my keys and head out the door. The drive feels different today. Not the usual nervous anticipation, but something more peaceful. I know exactly where I'm going, and I'm not expecting anything from anyone but myself. When I arrive at Daniel's, he's standing outside, leaning against his car, waiting for me like he always does. As soon as he sees me, his face lights up, and all the tension in my shoulders melts away. He doesn't ask any questions, doesn't pry. He simply opens the door for me, and I slip inside, feeling like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. So, Daniel says after a while, breaking the comfortable silence, "How are you really doing?" I let out a long sigh, leaning my head back against the seat. I'm done. I'm done hoping they'll change. I'm done trying to make them see me. I've wasted enough years. He doesn't say anything at first, but after a long pause, he gently says, "I'm proud of you. That's a huge step, Sarah." I smile softly, but it's different this time. It's not the smile I've given when I'm hiding my pain. It's real. Thank you. And for the first time in my life, I realize something. I've been waiting for someone to show me love, to show me what family is supposed to feel like. But what I didn't realize was that I've been holding the power to love myself this whole time. The love I've been searching for doesn't have to come from the people who've hurt me. It doesn't have to come from anyone but me. And for the first time, I feel that love, quiet and steady, deep in my bones. I don't need my family's approval. I don't need their validation. I just need to be me. And that, right there, is enough. The days after that moment with Daniel are quiet, but not in a bad way. It's more like a calm after a storm, the kind of peace that comes when you finally stop fighting against something you can't change. For the first time, I feel like I'm finally starting to put myself first. I stop checking my phone every 5 minutes. I don't even check the family group chat anymore. It's as if I've finally accepted that I don't need to be constantly looking for validation from people who haven't earned it. There's something freeing in that. At work, one start to take on more responsibility. My manager notices. Colleagues start asking me for advice. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But even as my career starts to take off, there's still a lingering ache, one I can't quite shake. It's not the ache of needing to be seen anymore. It's the ache of grief. Grief for the family I thought I had, the family I thought would be there for me no matter what. I try not to think about it. I focus on the new friendships I'm building. People who, for the first time, actually care about me. I spend weekends with them, going to farmers markets, hiking trails, or just grabbing coffee in the corner cafe. I laugh more than I have in a long time, but that doesn't stop the quiet nights from feeling empty sometimes. The nights when I get home and the world is silent except for the hum of the fridge and the soft rustle of trees outside my window. On those nights, I can almost hear their voices. Mom's sharp, irritated tone, Lucas's mocking laugh. I know it's irrational, that I shouldn't still let them have this hold over me, but I do, sometimes. One Thursday, about a month after my birthday, I'm sitting on my couch, scrolling through my phone, when a message pops up in the family group chat. It's from Mom. "Sarah, we're planning a family dinner this weekend. Can you make it?" I stare at the message for a long time, my finger hovering over the screen. The old reflex kicks in, the one that says, Go and make it right. The part of me that still wants to be the good daughter, the one who shows up even when it feels like nobody notices her. But then I remember. I remember everything I've been through, the years of feeling invisible, of being pushed aside, of pretending it didn't hurt. I remember how I've spent my entire life trying to make them see me, trying to make them care. And I realized something. I don't need their approval. I don't need their love. I need to love myself. And if they can't see that, then maybe it's time to stop trying to make them. I put the phone down and stand up, walking to the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea. The warmth from the mug feels good in my hands, grounding me in the present. I lean against the counter and let the thoughts settle. I don't need them to validate me. I send a reply to the group chat, my fingers steady as I type. I won't be coming. I've got plans. It's a small act of defiance, but it feels like a huge step for me. For the first time, I'm not trying to fix things. I'm not trying to make everything okay for them. I'm just living for myself. The phone buzzes again almost immediately. "Sarah, this isn't funny. We want to make things right. It's time to move on from the birthday stuff." I read the message over and over, the sting of her words still there, but a little less sharp each time. I'm not mad, I type back. But I can't just pretend everything's fine when it's not. A few minutes go by. Then another message. "This is ridiculous. You're overreacting again." I take a deep breath. I could reply. I could argue. Explain myself again, but I don't. This time, I just don't respond. And I don't feel guilty about it. For the first time in my life, I'm able to let it go. That night, I tell Daniel what happened. We're sitting on the couch together, a glass of wine in my hand as I recount the conversation. When I finish, he looks at me with a kind of pride that makes my chest tighten. "You're stronger than I think you realize," he says, his voice low but full of warmth. I smile, feeling something shift inside me. Maybe I'm just finally learning to let go of the things that hurt me. Daniel leans forward, placing his hand on mine. "You've got a whole future ahead of you, Sarah, and it's yours to write." His words hit me like a wave. It's true. I've spent so much time holding on to the past, holding on to people who never really saw me, that I forgot I have the power to shape my own future. I think I'm ready for that future, I say softly, looking at him. And I mean it. The next few weeks pass in a blur of small victories. At work, I'm offered a promotion. It's a big step for me, one that signals not just professional growth, but personal growth as well. I take it without hesitation, no longer afraid of the weight of responsibility. Daniel and I spend more time together, growing closer with each passing day. I find myself laughing more, letting go of the things that once kept me trapped in the shadows. He's become my rock, my safe place, and I start to realize that family doesn't have to be the people you're born to. Family is the ones who choose you, the ones who see you and love you for exactly who you are. But as my world expands, as my sense of self grows stronger, there's still a part of me that wonders about my family, about whether they'll ever truly understand what they've done. And if they ever will it matter? One evening, I'm sitting at my desk at home, working on a report, when my phone buzzes again. This time, it's from Lucas. "Sarah, I know things haven't been great, but Mom wants us all to come over this weekend. Can you come?" For a moment, I feel that familiar tug the part of me that wants to believe things can change, that wants to show up and prove that I'm worth the effort. But then I remember all the times I've been let down, all the times I've been forced to fight for scraps of affection. And I realize something else. I don't have to keep fighting. Not anymore. I type my response. "No thanks, Lucas. I'm good. I don't wait for his reply. I don't need to. I've made my peace." The following months blur in a way that feels surreal, like I'm living in a world that's both familiar and new all at once. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not hoping for change. Instead, I've started to create my own rhythm, the kind that doesn't rely on anyone else. It's strange, though, learning to let go of the people who should have been there for me, yet never were, and to be okay with it. Work is going better than I expected. I've got that promotion I didn't think I'd ever earn, and I'm starting to lead projects I once only dreamed of. It's like my whole life shifted, not because anything outside of me changed, but because I finally allowed myself to take control. The days feel lighter now, but still, there's this occasional, subtle ache in the back of my mind. Some nights, when I'm lying in bed, I wonder if I'll ever stop wanting to be seen by them. It's like the ghost of that longing still follows me around, haunting the quiet moments. But it's not as heavy anymore. Daniel has become my safe place. It's strange how quickly we've built something real, something so different from the relationships I've had before. With him, I don't have to pretend. I don't have to hide the parts of myself that have been hidden for so long. I've started letting go of the weight of my past, piece by piece, letting him see me in ways I've never let anyone see me before. Still, there's that ache, that part of me that wonders why my family hasn't changed, why they still don't get it. It's hard to stop waiting for something from them, even when I know I'm better off without it. One evening, a message comes through from my mom. I don't even have to check the name. I already know who it is. I haven't heard from her in weeks, not since that last text exchange. "Sarah, I'm sorry for everything. Can we talk?" I sit there for a long moment, my phone in my hand, unsure of what to do with this. A part of me feels a rush of something relief, maybe? But it's quickly followed by hesitation. I don't even know what talking to her will change anymore. I remember the last time I tried, when I texted and told her how much it hurt to be forgotten on my birthday, to be pushed aside for Lucas once again. I remember her dismissing my feelings, calling me dramatic and overreacting, and I wonder if she's truly changed, or if this is just another attempt to placate me. I take a deep breath and type a response. I don't know if talking will change anything. "It's been a long time since I felt like I mattered to you, Mom." The response is almost immediate. "I know. I've been a bad mother. I was wrong, Sarah. Please let me explain." I sit back in my chair, trying to steady my breathing. I should feel something, right? Relieved, maybe? But instead, all I feel is a quiet frustration. Why does it always have to be me reaching out? Why does it always feel like I have to bear the weight of this relationship alone? Before I can think about it too much, I reply, "I don't know what explaining will do." I need more than words at this point. I need actions. The silence after my message feels different this time. It's not the cold silence I've come to expect from them. It's heavier, like they're finally realizing that I'm not the same person I was before. I get a message from Lucas shortly after. "Mom says you're upset. What's going on?" I'm not sure why, but his words sting. The fact that he's stepping in, trying to act like he's concerned when he's never been there for me, either it just feels wrong. I hesitate before I type. "It's nothing. I'm just tired of waiting for things to change that won't, and I'm done pretending that it doesn't hurt anymore." It's the truth. It's what I should have said years ago. The conversation dies out after that. I don't hear from them for a few days. I start to wonder if this is it, if they'll actually change, or if this is just another round of words without meaning. But I don't let myself dwell on it. I've got a life to live now. Daniel and I spend a quiet evening together. Dinner's simple takeout from the place we love. the one we've been to a dozen times now. But it feels different now, in the best way. It's not just about food or sharing space. It's about comfort, about knowing that, for the first time in a long while, I'm not looking for validation from anyone. We talk about everything: life, work, his latest project, the future. But when the conversation turns to my family, I feel a shift in me. It's not sadness this time. It's more like a quiet resolution. I've spent so long thinking that something would change, that they would come to their senses and see me for who I am. But I've stopped waiting for them to show up. I turn to Daniel, letting the words come out before I can second-guess myself. I'm done with hoping they'll change, I say, my voice steady. I've waited long enough. I can't keep doing this. It's exhausting. He doesn't say anything at first, but the look in his eyes says it all. He's proud of me. And for the first time in my life, I'm proud of myself too. You're allowed to let go of that, he says quietly, his hand on mine. You don't owe them anything. It's like a weight lifts off my chest. The way he says it, the way he believes in me, makes me feel like I'm allowed to move forward. I don't have to keep carrying their baggage, their mistakes, their expectations. For the first time, I feel like I'm walking in the right direction. A few days later, I'm sitting at my desk when I get another message from my mom. This time, I almost don't open it, but I do. I can't stop myself from wondering if this will be the moment things change. I've been thinking a lot about what you said, and I realize you're right. I've hurt you. I've treated you like you were second best for so long, and I'm sorry for that, but I can't change the past. All I can do now is try to be better for you. I don't know how to respond to that. The words feel heavy in my hands, like they don't match the reality I've been living for so long. I take a deep breath and reply. I appreciate the apology, but I'm not the same person I was. I'm moving forward, and I don't need you to validate me anymore. I need to focus on me. I hit send and put the phone down, a strange sense of peace settling over me. This is it. The end of waiting. The end of pretending I can fix things that were never meant to be fixed. I can't change them, but I can change me. And for the first time in my life, that feels like enough. The months that follow feel like a new chapter. One where I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder, waiting for something from people who don't know how to give. For the first time, I've started living for myself. It's strange, but in a good way. I no longer feel like I'm holding my breath, waiting for validation from my family. I can breathe deeply, and I finally feel at peace with that. Daniel and I are closer now, building something strong. I didn't know what it was at first, this bond between us, but now I see it for what it is. A partnership, a connection that doesn't require proving anything to anyone. He's become my safe place, my anchor, the one person who never makes me feel invisible. He sees me, and that's all I've ever wanted. In the time we've spent together, I've noticed changes in myself. I laugh more. I feel more confident in who I am, and I'm not afraid to voice what I want anymore. When I talk to Daniel, when we plan for the future, there's this lightness to it all, like we're building something real. He's taught me a lot about myself, without even trying. About trust, about letting go, about not needing anyone to tell me who I am. I've stopped checking my phone every day, waiting for something, anything, from my parents. I've stopped hoping that one day they'll change, that they'll see me the way I deserve to be seen. Instead, I focus on the life I'm building. I still think about them sometimes, about what could have been, but those thoughts don't sting like they used to. I've learned how to let go of that pain little by little. Then, one day, as I'm sorting through some papers at my desk, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Lucas. "Sarah, I just want to talk. Can we meet up?" I stare at the message for a long time. There's a part of me that's almost surprised to hear from him. He's always been more a shadow in the background than an active part of my life. And after everything that happened with my parents, I never thought I'd hear from him again. But here we are. I take a deep breath and type back. "What do you want to talk about?" He responds quickly. "I just want to understand what's going on. I know things have been rough, and I haven't been there for you, but maybe it's time to fix that." I read his message over and over, and a strange feeling settles in my chest. It's not the warmth I expected, but something else. Something closer to confusion. I never asked for this conversation. I never expected it. "I don't know if we can fix it," I reply. Too much has happened for me to just forget it. The message hangs there, unread for a while. I'm not angry, but I'm not excited either. There's no rush to forgive, no rush to forget. I've spent too much time in that place of waiting for things to change, only to end up disappointed. And I'm not willing to go back there. Not now. Not ever again. I put my phone down, and for a moment, I simply sit in the quiet of my apartment. The weight of the past still lingers, but it's lighter now. I'm not carrying it the way I used to, and I don't feel the need to keep holding on to it. A few days later, Lucas calls. I almost don't pick up, but then I do. The sound of his voice on the other end is familiar in a way that's almost unsettling. "Hey," he says, his tone tentative. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I've been thinking about how I've treated you, and I know I haven't been there, but I want to try to be better for you. The words are nice, but they don't reach me the way they should. I don't feel the relief that I thought I might. Instead, I just feel indifferent." "I appreciate it, Lucas," I say, trying to keep my voice steady, "but I don't know if we can go back to what we were. There's too much history, too many things I can't ignore." He's quiet for a moment, and when he speaks again, it's softer. "I get it, I really do, but I want you to know that I'm here. I'm not going to make excuses anymore." I pause, weighing the words. And then I say the thing I've needed to say for so long. It's not about excuses, Lucas. It's about actions. I don't need you to say sorry. I need you to show up. And that's something I've never seen from you. There's a long silence. And in that silence, I feel something shift inside me. It's the last thread of hope I've been holding on to, the last shred of the girl who kept waiting for someone to change. And when it falls away, I feel a strange sense of freedom. "You're right," Lucas says, his voice small. "I haven't shown up. I'll try. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I hope you can understand that I want to be there for you. For real, this time." I nod, even though he can't see me. I'll think about it. But I can't promise anything. And that's where we leave it. The conversation is short, but it's enough. Enough to finally let go of the last bit of hope I had. Enough to remind myself that I don't need to carry the weight of what should have been. The days after that conversation pass by quietly. I don't hear from Lucas again, and honestly, I don't expect to. Maybe he'll change, maybe he won't. But I know now that it doesn't matter to me the way it once did. Daniel and I go about our lives. We talk about the future more seriously now. We've started looking at apartments together, even though neither of us is in a rush. It's more about the idea of building a life together, a life where we're both seen for who we truly are. I never imagined I could feel so certain about anything, but with Daniel, I feel like I'm finally on the right path. And every day, I feel more and more like myself. The person I was before, the one who constantly sought validation from others, feels like someone I've left behind. I don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about who I am. I'm learning to be my own source of validation. One night, as we sit on the couch watching a movie, Daniel turns to me. "I'm really proud of you, you know that?" I smile, feeling the warmth of his words settle deep in my chest. I'm proud of me too. And for the first time, I really mean it. The story I've been telling myself for years that I needed someone else to validate me, to show me my worth, starts to fade. It's not a sudden change. It's not an overnight revelation. But it's real. I finally let go of the need to be seen by the people who never saw me. And now, I'm free. Free to be who I am. Free to live my life without constantly looking for someone else's approval. And that, I realize, is the truest form of freedom there is. Story 2. In the middle of the opulent ballroom, I remained still. Suddenly, the navy dress was uncomfortably snug across my breast. During an earthquake, the champagne in my glass trembles like water in a cup. As my sister breathes, my 9-year-old son Liam holds onto my free hand, his little fingers tightening their grip. The sound system in the room reverberates with laughter. Liam leans against my side and says, "Mom, why are people staring at us?" I am unable to respond to him. Words are trapped inside my constricted throat, as firmly as if someone from across the room had clamped their fingers over my lips. Beside Brielle at the head table is my mom, Nancy. The light from the crystal chandeliers catches her flawlessly combed silver hair. Her self-satisfied expression makes my stomach turn cold. The whispers ripple through the reception as Brielle taps her champagne flute with a silver spoon, the crystal ringing out to quiet. With the microphone boosting her voice, she declares, Let's toast my sister. Throughout dinner, she insisted on holding. Claire Thompson is a real example of how one mistake can ruin your life. The crowd erupts in awkward laughter, while some guests lean forward, seeking drama. They hadn't anticipated with their wedding cake. Others move uneasily in their chairs. Mommy! My hand is pulled by Liam. Now it's harder. Why are they treating us badly? Before I can answer, my mom approaches Brel and puts her hand on his shoulder. Her wrist was adorned with a diamond tennis bracelet. Prisms dance over the white tablecloth as her present to the bride this morning catches the sun. She at least brought her predicament. Today, wear appropriate clothing, Nancy continues, her lips curving into what would be photographed as a grin. What I see, though, is disdain. My face is burning. Around us, the murmurs intensify as 200 of Atlanta's richest residents conjecture about the embarrassment that stands among them. Nothing has changed in 9 years. I had been in the bridal suite 3 hours prior, meticulously preparing Brel's cathedral-length veil, as she grumbled about the florist's inability to find the precise hue of blush roses. She made a demand. She looked at her mirror and remarked, "You're lucky you never had a real wedding." A lot of tension. Despite the barb, I continued to hold my fingers firm with the ruby earrings that our grandma had given me. As I moved there, my sister's jewels stood out against the deep crimson of the sole bequest I had gotten. "Couldn't you find anything less, Claire?" Bargain shop. My mother had entered the room and cast her critical eyes on my outfit, which I had carefully saved for 2 months and bought during my lunch break. When I found an error in the printed versions of the programs I had hand-lettered, I would correct them. A narrative about courageous knights handling a dozen disasters that no one would ever notice or acknowledge reveals the nervousness of flower girls. The photographer needs some pictures before the ceremony, Brielle, honey. My sister was led to the door by Nate. "You look perfect. I am aware. Really hard," he said. Then, he turned to look dismissively at me. "This time, make sure those programs are set up correctly." Now, with my dignity in ruins, I grabbed my handbag from the table next to me. It's time to go. It's time to shield my son from the family that sees him as proof of my shortcomings. My mother hisses abruptly next to me, "Don't you dare make a scene," as if I hadn't noticed her coming. My flesh has half-moon indentations from the microphone free, as her fingers bite into my forearm and manicured nails. Everything goes on, her speech a little slurred by too much champagne. We all have to make decisions in life, after all. Some of us select lovely homes and prosperous husbands. Others make the decision. She looks straight at Liam, who squirms at my side. Moving through the crowd is the wedding photographer. Everything was captured by his camera. The happy bride, the uneasy visitors, the unmarried mother and her boy, without a father getting ready to flee. These photographs will serve as proof of another kind tomorrow. Evidence of my family's true opinion of us. My back straightens. Not now. I set my drink down on the closest table and lead Liam to the door. We'll disappear in silence. No tears, no scenes. Where none has been provided, only decency. His voice and Claire's carry. Even though she tried to hush, people turn. I'm stopped in my tracks by the sound of a chair grinding on marble. My new brother-in-law, Daniel Mercer, hesitantly gets up from his chair at the head table. As everyone's gaze moves from my escape to his sudden action, the room becomes quiet. His fingers carefully take the microphone from Brel's hand as he lunges for it. His face doesn't change, but there's a quiet resolve in his gaze that makes even my mother shudder. His voice filling the quiet room, he continues, "I think that's quite enough." I look at him with a glimmer of familiarity on the outskirts of my recollection. The way he stands, shoulders squared against disapproval, says something. I've already seen him. Prior to the engagement, Brielle took him home. However, I am unable to pinpoint the time or location of the suspended moment, as 300 people hold their breath, anticipating what will happen next. The tension is perfect. Daniel's knuckles whiten against the silver handle of the microphone as his grip tightens. I can hear the ice shifting in an abandoned pair of glasses as the room becomes extremely quiet. Like surprised birds waiting, 200 pairs of eyes dart between us. I am an investment banker, as many of you are aware. In spite of the tension that permeates the ballroom, Daniel speaks steadily. You are unaware that I had known Claire Thompson for a long time prior to Brielle, introducing us at last year's Christmas party. I catch my breath as Raelle stumbles ahead. Her dazzling diamond earrings swing wildly as she reaches for the microphone. That isn't feasible. She was someone you never met. The words combine panic and champagne, making for a dangerous concoction. Daniel avoids her and reaches for her hands with the smoothness of someone who has become used to controlling her emotions. I remember exactly when and where, his gaze finally across the room, unwavering 9 years ago. The floor beneath me seems to tilt. 9 years ago, when Liam was just a baby, when my family had freshly disowned me, when I was working 3 jobs and volunteering at the hospital on weekends because they offered free childcare during shifts. Mom, Liam tugs at my sleeve. What's happening? Before I can answer, the bathroom fades around me as Daniel continues speaking his words, painting images so vivid I'm transported back in time called fluorescent lights buzz overhead in the antiseptic hallway of Memorial Hospital's oncology ward. My volunteer uniform, pale blue with a cheap plastic name badge, hangs loose on my frame. I've lost weight again. Formula costs more than groceries for myself. Remember to walk, not run, sweetheart. I remind 3-year-old Liam as he toddles out of me, clutching a stack of crayon drawings. Room 412 comes into view, the same room we visited every Saturday for the past month. The young woman inside Julia can't be more than 19 or 20. Her once thick auburn hair has thinned to wisps against the white pillowcase. The chemotherapy isn't working anymore. Everyone knows it, but no one says it aloud. Miss Julie, Liam calls out, his small feet picking up speed despite my warning. Juliet turns from the window, her gaunt face transforming with a smile that erases the shadows of her illness. For one brilliant moment, there's my favorite artist. She extends a thin arm toward him. I hang back, watching as Liam carefully spreads his drawings across her blanket. Bright crayon world where the sun always shines and stick figure people hold hands beneath impossible purple trees. This one's you. Liam points to a figure with orange squiggles for hair. And this is me. We're at the beach. Mom says beaches have lots of sand, but I never been to one. Been to one? I cracked automatic Lee, then wince at how schoolteacher-ish I sound. Julia catches my eye and winks. It's our private joke, the overworked young single mother who can't help teaching proper grammar even while exhausted. These are magnificent, Julia tells Liam with the complete seriousness that he responds to so well. No baby talk, no condescension. I'm putting this one right here. She tapes a drawing of a rocket ship to her for pool. That way I can see it all night. I settle into the chair beside her bed, pulling my battered copy of poetry from my volunteer tote bag. Julia loves Robert Frost, though she's too weak to hold the book herself. Now, as I read, a shadow shifts in the doorway. I glance up briefly, noting a tall figure, a man watching us, probably one of Julia's relatives, I think, before returning to the poem. Later, after Liam has fallen asleep in my lap and Julia has dozed off mid-stanza, I carefully pack our things. The container of homemade soup I brought sits on her bedside table. The nurses say she hasn't been eating, but sometimes she'll take a few spoonfuls when I bring food from home. Claire saved my sister's Tupperware containers. Daniel's voice pulls me back to the present moment, to the wedding reception, frozen in surprise. She washed them and brought them back each week filled with new soup. Despite working overtime to make rent, despite raising Liam alone, murmurs ripple through the crowd. I spot my boss, Mr. Henderson, his expression shifting from confused to impressed. The Wilsons from my mother's garden club exchange glances. Brielle's sorority sisters whisper behind manicured hands. Julia lived 3 months longer than her doctors predicted, Daniel continues. In her final days, she told me those Saturday afternoons with Claire and Liam gave her something to look forward to when treatments couldn't offer hope. Nancy steps forward, her country club smiles, strained at the edges. Daniel, darling, this is all very touching, but perhaps we should cut the cake instead. Her fingers close around his forearm. He doesn't acknowledge her. Claire never knew Julia was my sister. I watched from the doorway week after week, never introducing myself properly because I didn't want to interrupt. The only bright spots enjoy his final months. Liam. Small hand finds mine again. I remember Miss Julie, he whispers. She let me use her special purple marker. Tears burn behind my eyes. I'd forgotten that detail. The expensive art marker Julia insisted Liam used for his masterpieces when her hands became too shaky to draw herself. Daniel reaches up to his lapel, unpins his white rose boutonniere, and places it gently on the head table. The gesture carries a finality that silences even the whispers. I cannot marry into a family that treats its most courageous member. This way, he announces, voice carrying to every corner of the ballroom Rial's perfect makeup streaks down her face and black rivulets. What are you doing? She hisses, reaching for him. Nancy lunges forward, abandoning pretense. You can't be serious. Do you know how much this wedding cost? Daniel steps back, putting distance between himself and both women. No amount of money justifies cruelty to a mother and child. A memory services Daniel insisting on helping Liam build a model airplane at Thanksgiving dinner while everyone else ignored him. Daniel asking about my volunteer work at the engagement party when Brielle cut me off. Daniel watching me, always watching with that vaguely familiar expression I could never place. Now I know why. A tear slides down my cheek. But for the first time in 9 years, it's not from humiliate. When something warm and unfamiliar blooms in my chest, straightening my spine. Vindication. Champagne glasses crash to the marble floor as Daniel moves toward us. Through the startled crowd, wedding guests scatter like pigeons from a park bench. Their designer heels clicking against stone as they create a path between us. You're leaving me for her? Brelle's voice rises to a shriek that bounces off the crystal chandelier as her perfect makeup streaks down her cheeks. Mascara. Rivers destroying the facade. She spent 3 hours perfecting my own sister at my wedding. Mother rushes between tables, patting the shoulders of the city councilman's wife, murmuring to the hospital board chairman, damage control, and Chanel. I've seen this performance before at my high school graduation. When I announced my state college scholarship instead of attending her alma mater at Christmas dinner, when I refused to pretend Liam was my nephew for the society photographer Claire, I turned to find Mr. Harrington, my boss of 7 years, standing beside me, the same man who avoided eye contact at company functions when Mother cornered him to discuss my temporary position until I sorted out my situation. You never mentioned your volunteer work at Memorial. Something shifts in his expression. Respect, replacing tolerance. My wife was on that cancer floor 4 years ago. She still talks about the young mother and small son who delivered homemade soup every Tuesday. Before I can answer, Liam tugs at Daniel's sleeve. My kid, who hides beneath my legs when others come, looks up at Daniel with clear eyes. Did my pictures actually assist your sister? His little voice carries in the unexpected pocket of calm surrounding us. Daniel kneels. I level with my son. His tuxedo, worth more than 3 months of my rent, crumples on the floor without a second thought. Your thoughtfulness gave her joy when nothing else could. Daniel's voice lowers to a register. Meant solely for Liam, but I catch every word. Those rocket ships you sketched. She kept them posted to the ceiling so she could view them from her bed. My throat tightens. I recognized you straight away at the engagement dinner, Daniel says, rising to meet my gaze. Your hair was braided with a blue ribbon and longer than you wore. Instead of Daniel, I think of Julia, the young lady who had the same gray-blue eyes as the man in front of me, and how she used to grin when Liam got on her bed with his construction paper and crayons. How, while everyone else simply observed my errors, she had inquired about my grades and ambitions. I observed how they handled you for months. Daniel's voice remains calm as he continues. Maybe they were different in private than they seemed in public, and I kept hoping I was mistaken. Still sobbing onto my mother's shoulder, he looks at Brielle. I ought to have spoken out sooner. I apologize. A peculiar serenity descends upon me, akin to the silence following a rainstorm. I've choked on Themin, the family name, and swallowed my words for 9 years. Calm. Suddenly, the burden of those spoken realities becomes too great to bear one more step. I turn to face my mom. 9 years. My voice is steady. Liam was raised for 9 years while working full-time. 3 promotions, mornings at the hospital with patients who everyone else had given up on, and nights spent studying for my CPA certification after he was asleep. The familiar slits of displeasure narrow Nancy's eyes. You never offered to watch the kids. When your buddies needed accounting assistance, you never once brought up my name. You whined about paying for Liam's school supplies, even yet you gave $10,000 Stowe Brill's honeymoon fund. All around us, the murmurs get more intense. Under the April sun, her meticulously manicured image crumbles like thin ice. Your embarrassment was never appropriate. On my tongue, the words taste like liberation. I notice a movement close to the entryway. Behind her, holding her vehicle keys, is my 72-year-old neighbor, Miss S. Rivera, who looks for Liam after school. The oncology department's Dr. Wilson nods quietly. My boss comes forward. He declares, loud enough for the tables closest to him to hear, that Claire has been our most sought-after accountant for the previous 2 years. Beginning Monday, she will have her own office as part of the promotion we discussed last month. Daniel's parents are approached by a prominent couple. I am shocked to learn that his mother grabs my free hand instead of condemning me as I had anticipated. Simply said, "Julia informed us about you. We had been anticipating a proper meeting with you." Liam's third-grade teacher, Miss Peyton, lifts her glass in a quiet toast from the other side of the room. I didn't realize she would be here. She is the second cousin of Daniel. My astonishment is broken by Daniel's voice. "Let me take Liam and you home." The light catches Mom's diamond bracelet as she leaps forward. "Will you allow this to occur?" Once more, she is wrecking my day. Nancy's nails cut into my flesh as she grips my arm, her face hardening. "Claire, you are solely to blame. Making problems all the time. The words need to be painful. The pain has persisted for years. However, the movement of continental plates beneath my feet has caused a fundamental alteration. Trying to gain a little bit of acceptance for 9 years. Liam spent 9 years shielding him from their disillusionment in the hopes that they would eventually see his value. View mine. Nothing will ever be different. Liam's sweetheart. Beside my son, I kneel. "Are you ready to go now?" His face lights up with relief as he nods. Could Mr. Daniel also attend? Daniel first extends his hand to my boy before reaching out to me with the other. Together, we make our way to the exit. I no longer feel like my navy dress is too tight. With every step, my spine straightens. At the door, Miss S. Rivera greets us and presses her car keys into Daniel's hand. My Lincoln was with me. "The boy is more at ease. I always knew you deserved better, dear," she adds in a whisper. Outside the scene, the sun casts amber and gold hues across the sky. Liam looks up at me, a tentative hope replacing his confusion. Does this imply that we are no longer required to see Grandma? My heart is both pierced and healed by the question. His hair is the same shade as mine, and I brush it off his forehead. It's the same cowlick that keeps moving. Everyone surrounds themselves with people who accept and love them for who they are. The promise is as firm as the earth underfoot. After quicksand for years, Miss S. Rivera's car door is opened by Daniel. The golden hour light softened his face. "If you're interested, I know of a fantastic ice cream shop. There is no pressure, only ice cream." Liam looks to me for approval as his face brightens. I make a decision free from my family's expectations for the first time in 9 years. A decision made only on the basis of what makes the two individuals accompanying me happy. The sound of ice cream is ideal. Dust motes dancing above unopened moving boxes are illuminated by a shaft of morning sunlight that cuts across my small apartment. I still lack the energy to completely unpack 2 months after the wedding. There are wounds that heal more slowly than others. I cradle my coffee mug, a gift from Daniel with courage, written in simple script, and watch the steam rise in the quiet morning. The red light on my answering machine blinks with 6 new messages. Nancy's voice from yesterday's call echoes in my memory. "You're tearing this family apart." As if we'd ever truly been whole. The certified letter from their family attorney sits unopened on the counter. Emotional distress, according to the receptionist who signed for it. Beside it lies my phone displaying Brill's latest social media post, a black and white photo captioned, "Healing from betrayal isn't linear, the Thompson family specialty inflicting pain, then claiming victimhood." My accounting certification hangs in a simple black frame on the wall, no longer hidden in a drawer across the room. Liam's bedroom door showcases his hospital junior volunteer certificate with a handwritten note. Best storyteller we've ever had. Liam emerges, hair rumpled, shoulders straighter than they've been in years. His grades have improved steadily since we stopped attending family dinners, where Nancy dissected his every achievement for flaws. Is Daniel coming today? He asks, reaching for orange juice this afternoon. He's bringing materials for my business plan. I can't stop the small smile that forms. My phone chimes with the text from my boss, confirming my new office will be ready Monday at the corner suite with Claire Thompson, senior accountant, on the door. 3 major clients requested me specifically for their quarterly reviews, and next week, I'm presenting at the Regional Accounting Conference on work-life balance strategies. Mom, Liam says, studying a permission slip from school. Mrs. Wilson says I'm doing great in therapy. She says I'm. He squints at the note, processing family dynamics in healthy ways. Last session, he finally spoke about Grandma's rejection. She didn't see how special you are. Mom, he'd said with 9-year-old wisdom that left the therapist blinking back tears. His homework assignment sits on the refrigerator, my hero with my picture carefully drawn below. The doorbell rings promptly at 2. Daniel arrives, carrying blueprint tubes and fabric samples. These are for your home office, he explains as Liam examines his basketball shoes. I found an antique desk that matches your certification frame almost exactly. He unrolls the blueprints, revealing plans for the spare room in his house, transformed into a professional office space with built-in shelving and natural lighting. For Thompson Financial Solutions, he says, the name of my dream hanging between us. Every CEO needs a proper desk. My seed money, carefully saved from each paycheck for 9 years, could make this possible sooner than I dared hope. The business plan is nearly finished. Daniel continues. Your experience managing client portfolios while juggling single motherhood is exactly the unique selling point. Small business owners will appreciate. His patience washes over me like a bomb. No ultimatums, no timelines, just steady support without demands. He speaks of Julia sometimes late at night when Liam is asleep, how his sister faced terminal illness with grace, how watching me mother Liam reminds him of her strength. These stories help me process my own wounds, showing me another way to view family beyond the toxic model I grew up with. The doorbell rings again, jarring in our peaceful afternoon. Through the people I see brittle mascara smudged beneath red room dyes. It's my sister, I say softly. Daniel immediately starts gathering his papers. Would you like me to stay in the background? I nod, grateful for his intuition. When I open the door, Brielle stumbles slightly, as if she's been leaning against it. The diamond earrings that were my grandmother's catch the light clear, she says, voice breaking. I'm sorry, but you have to comprehend what you've done to the family. Even her apologies begin with accusations. You've wrecked everything, she continues. Tears pouring. Mother's been dropped from the charity board. Daddy's business partners are asking inquiries, and I can't reveal my face of the club. I stand upright, shoulders back. I'm sorry you're hurting, Brielle, but I won't blame for repercussions that come from your decisions. But we're family, she murmurs, reaching for Liam. Come give Auntie a hug. My kid steps back, standing tall behind me. No, thank you, he says nicely. His voice was forceful yet tiny. Daniel observes in silence from the kitchen doorway, prepared to intervene but allowing us to tackle this situation independently for the first time in my life. I don't feel outnumbered by my family. At last, I'm on the stronger side. On the wall of my office, I fix the framed accounting license. The brass nameplate of Thompson Financial Solutions shining in the early light on my wood desk. Freedom for 6 months is sweeter than I could have ever dreamed. I caught a peek of Melissa at reception via the partially open door, answering calls with the efficiency that has been practiced. When customer overflow asked for assistance last month, I recruited her. I run my fingertips over Liam's most recent therapy drawing, which is in a plain silver frame. He is holding hands with stick figures, Daniel and I beneath a rainbow. Daniel's picture is next to it. The strength I've learned to rely on is reflected in his serene grin. My right hand's emerald ring. As I grab my coffee, his grandmother's catches the sun, a commitment that neither of us takes lightly, but not yet an engagement. Melissa shows up at my door, Miss Thompson. Pastor Williams is here to greet you. He claims to be a Calvary Heights native. Her eyebrows go up a little, but her face stays neutral. The lady he is with is older. My stomach becomes constricted. For 30 years, I attended my mother's church, Calvary Heights. Before I steady my palm, the teacup vibrates against its saucer. Please send them in. Silver-haired and dignified, Pastor Williams appears first, wearing a charcoal suit and holding a Bible tightly to his breast like a shield. My mother is gliding behind him in a Chanel outfit. As flawless as ever, however, the collar is less snug around her neck than it was half a year ago. Her lips is framed by deep lines. Not even cosmetics can cover it up. "Claire," she begins, her eyes calculating but her voice warm. "Mom, you look good." "Please have a seat, Pastor Williams." The first point to the chairs for guests, comfortable enough to imply success, but not as leathery as at Dad's office. Once more, the door opens. Liam sneaks into the break room from his after-school homework place and settles down next to my chair right away. Under his school uniform, his shoulders were square, chin raised. He stands watch like a little soldier at 9. "Hi there, Liam." "Smile tight," my mother advises. "Oh my, you've matured." Liam gives a single nod, then moves forward to give her the embrace she declines. Williams, the pastor, clears his throat. "Your mom has been participating in our family reconciliation ministry, Claire." He opens his Bible to a marked page and rests it on his lap. We learn from the excellent book that family ties are sacred. Nancy has shown a strong desire for you two to get back on your feet. I handed mugs to each guest while I poured tea from the carafe on my desk. "Pastor, it's really considerate of you to go this far. Could you tell me what brought you here at this time?" My voice doesn't waver. Expert. The tone I employ while dealing with challenging clientele. With her pearls swaying, my mother leans forward. "Families should remain united. Claire." Although the wedding incident was regrettable, we can undoubtedly move on at this point. Her eyes dart to Liam and back again. The holidays are approaching. If it looked better, it would look better. Cup paused halfway to my lips as I repeated. Pastor Williams steps in. "Nancy is saying that everyone benefits from Christian forgiveness." And he pauses, looking at my mom from the side, and I ask her, making her cross her ankles. Following that scene, our standing is being reviewed by the Country Club Membership Committee. Their files have been requested by a number of long-time clients. Her voice falters. "You know, they've come to you. It's there. We must once more put on a united front." Regaining her composure, she continues, "The reputation of your father's business. I understand." I clicked my cup gently to send it down. Reconciliation is not the point of this. It has to do with appearance. Liam's hand, firm and warm, rests on my shoulder. I take out a leather-bound journal from my desk drawer. All the cutting remarks were recorded in 9 years of entries. Liam always receives less than his cousins at Christmas. We were always seated at the far end of the table during family get-togethers. I maintained a log. My finger traces the Warren cover because, "Ma'am, gaslighting was your specialty, not because I'm resentful. Every time I brought up the way you treated us, you said I was overly sensitive or making things up." Pastor Williams moves uneasily. "Limited contact is something I'm willing to think about." I go on, but with restrictions. Family therapy comes first, with a licensed therapist, not your pastor. Second, this journal acknowledges certain incidents, no evasive excuses. Third, adherence to the limits I establish with Liam. My mother's face brightens, naturally. "Whatever you need, darling." The words flow too fast. Therapy, however, seems over the top. One simple forgiveness. Not negotiable. When I cut her off, it's okay. Though this office space is rather modest for someone with your clients. "I could speak to your father about investing." "No. You always did make things difficult." She sighs, glancing around. "Daniel would likely propose properly if we reconciled. Men value family connections." A little chuckle escapes me, surprising us both. Daniel loves me exactly because I finally love myself. He admires my limits, not my readiness to eliminate them. Pastor Williams coughs, plainly aware the subject has wandered far from his script. I stand, smoothing my skirt. "Thank you for attending. I'll email the therapy recommendations tomorrow." My mother rises, gathering her handbag. You're being obstinate, Claire. I'm being clear, I correct. Walking them to the elevator showed professional courtesy. Love is gained via acts, not demanded by duty. Turning for a last shot, she enters the elevator. Your father's heart is being broken by you. The doors start to shut. Dad hasn't given me a call. Silently, I say, you're by yourself here. As the door pulls close, her eyes enlarge. As we make our way back to my office, the little hand slides into mine. Mom, was it okay? Indeed. I spoke in a whisper. Maybe for the first time in 33 years, steady. That was all okay. While I fixed the silver frame on the mantel, I watched the firelight dance across Julia's portrait. Her smile, which is quite similar to Daniel's, seems to approve of the glittering lights and pine garland that adorned our first Christmas together. As I run my fingertips down the frame's edge, I think of the young woman whose generosity Liam and I never knew would transform our lives. Can we go to the hospital soon, Mom? Before supper, I assured the children that we would assist them in opening their gifts. Wearing his brand new Christmas jumper, Liam slips into the living room, purpose-driven eyes. His volunteer badge proudly stands next to mine at the age of 10, carrying on the tradition that unwittingly brought us and Daniel together years ago. I fix the business award between family shots after making sure supper is going well. Thomson Financial Solutions exceeded forecasts by 40% in its first year. The Mercer Thompson Healthcare Education Fund Foundation certificate for single parents is located next to it. Our method of transforming past suffering into opportunities for the future. The kitchen is a hive of activity. Miss S. Rivera cuts the roast precisely as she has practiced. With the carving knife, her curled, arthritis-affected fingers remained stable. She swatted Daniel's father away when he offered to assist, declaring, "In my country, the matriarch always serves the meat." Daniel's mother uses a magnet to organize Liam's school essay on the refrigerator. The title family is not about who shares your DNA, but about who loves you. Had won him an A in a parent-teacher meeting in which his teacher broke down in tears. Dad isn't accustomed to receiving commands. Daniel presses a whisper to my ear. My waist was encircled by arms. But having a grandchild has never made him happy. My supervisor. No customer. Bill Henderson lifts his glass of wine to the woman who promoted me and made me seem amazing. He is nudged by his wife. I look great because I hired her firm today, Sinead. With 14 guests crammed around our tables, laughter reverberates throughout our house. Volunteers at the hospital, group therapy.companions, neighbors, faces linked by choice rather than DNA. I have unopened Christmas cards in my desk drawer that are addressed to Nancy and Bree. Weeks ago, I wrote these. Not signed yet, however, neither door is completely open nor closed. Daniel kneels in front of me and holds a little velvet box as he announces the time. Silence descends over the room. He opens the box to reveal an emerald ring smaller than the one I saw in pictures and explains, "This was Julia's. Calling you her sister would have delighted her." His voice trembles a little. "I want the privilege of referring to you as my wife." Liam advances and thrusts a handcrafted card into my grasp. The letters in the crown spell out, "Will you actually allow Daniel to be my father?" I nod, tears streaming down my cheeks, not of rejection or humiliation, but of sheer delight. As they both embrace me, I am unable to talk. I never had to gain approval. The Mercer name is signed next to the partially completed novel on my desk after the plates are cleared, and adoption documents are given to Liam. The doorbell rings for the family we select. I own it. As Daniel teaches Liam his family's customary Christmas card game, I inform him, my mother is standing on the porch, appearing smaller than I remember, with snow swirling behind her. The meticulously manicured silver of her hair has been supplanted by gray. She is holding a little bundle of plain red paper. "I was mistaken," she says. She did not preface, manipulate, or embellish her words. I apologize. I look into her eyes, hoping to see the usual calculation, but all I see is sorrow and tiredness. Neither shutting nor opening the door wider, my hand pauses on it. Not quite yet, just a little bit open. Similar to the potential for forgiveness itself. Without bringing up Nancy's looks, I go back to her celebration and observe our family in silent awe. Miss S. Rivera teaches Liam Spanish Christmas carols, or Daniel's parents steal cards. Bill and my pals from the therapy group had a friendly argument over basketball. On the bookshelf next to the old family album is a new one that is already partially filled with pictures of the individuals we picked and those we chose in return. Having the guts to leave can sometimes lead to the best outcomes.